All right, listen up, therapist friends. If you are a therapist like me and you've been casually calling yourself a coach without having the credentials to back it up, stop. You are playing with fire. And let me tell you, that fire can burn down your practice, your reputation, and even your career. Now, before you click away from this thinking, oh, lots of people call themselves coaches, they don't need to be certified, I'm fine. Let me ask you this. If you're a therapist, a state licensed therapist, and a licensing board investigated your coaching practice tomorrow, maybe had some questions about how you're differentiating between coaching and therapy, and what are you doing to make sure that there are very clear differences between the two? Could you prove that you have met this professional standard of care and that you have very clear processes and procedures that create a lot of boundaries between the two things? Or do you have documentation around the way that you assess therapy versus coaching clients and make decisions about who needs what and when to refer? No? Well, then you stay right here, because over the next few minutes, you're going to come to understand why DIY coaching is a terrible idea, at least for therapists, and about the very specific things that you can do to ensure that your practice is protected against true disaster. So let's just jump right into this. Coaching and therapy are not the same thing. Coaching is goal-driven, action-oriented, and it requires a completely different skill set. When therapists who have not had education, training, certification, specifically in coaching psychology, assume that coaching is basically like therapy, just maybe a little on the directive side, we're not treating a diagnosis, it's coaching, right? When therapists make those assumptions and try to wing it, bad things can happen. Here's what you're risking. First of all, your client's well-being. I mean, when you don't really understand how to structure coaching, which is very different, by the way. You have a different role. The expectations are different. The process of coaching is different. The intentions of coaching is different. The interventions, the assessments, the tools that you use as a coach, lots of differences. And so if you are holding yourself out as a coach without being able to do those things, your clients who are showing up wanting and expecting a coaching experience are not going to get that from you. At the very least, you're going to have a lot of unhappy campers because they are going to expect you to be showing up differently than you are if you're just kind of doing what you usually do as a therapist. And here's where it gets even scarier, y'all. If one of those clients files a complaint with a state licensing board, you could be accused of practicing outside your scope of competence, and justifiably so, right? So what is the evidence to support the fact that you do know how to use coaching? And this gets even scarier if you are operating as a coach across state lines and a client in a state that you do not have a license in files a grievance with their state licensing board or your home state licensing board, accusing you of practicing therapy with them in a state where you were not licensed to practice therapy. That gets real fast and is not something that you want to mess around with. Additionally, think about the long-term consequences for the kind of practice that you want to have. I mean, we know therapists in private practice, a lot of our success depends on word of mouth, right? People saying good things about us after having had a fantastic experience. And if you are offering coaching services and not able to provide real coaching services and have people thinking, what was that? That's going to get out. You could get reviews, nasty reviews. You could have people at the very least just not recommending you, right? And nobody wants that. And I think the worst part here is that therapists like myself, before I became a certified coach, we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't understand that we're even doing something wrong because we have not been taught what those things are because we didn't get the training and the certification, right? So it turns into this nasty feedback loop. But here is how you can protect yourself. There are two different ways. And this is, either of these are positive, okay? But first of all, if you are a licensed therapist who has just kind of tacked on coaching and just started messing around with coaching casually without having training and certification, I would highly recommend that you stop that as quickly as you can. Just be a therapist. Focus on what you know. Have a great practice. Have a nice life. Do therapy. You will be safe. Nobody's going to be mad at you, and you won't get into any trouble for doing that. Now, on the other hand, if you're hearing that, being like, but I like coaching. I like the idea of coaching. I think coaching clients are fun. I want to have the freedom that coaching affords. And also, if you are like I was before I decided to become certified, thinking, I could probably be a much more effective growth partner for a big chunk of the clients who want to work with me if I did understand coaching psychology, because it's a really helpful modality for a lot of people, right? If you're thinking that, being like, well, I don't want to stop. Here's what you do is become a credentialed coach, specifically a board certified coach. So board certified coach credential is the kind of coaching credential that licensed therapists get. So the NBCC, the same organization that oversees the nationally certified counselor designation, which you probably got on your way to becoming a state licensed therapist. Also, the NBCC oversees continuing education for therapists. Well, it just so happens that their continuing education center, the CCE, has a coaching credential. That is the BCC, Board Certified Coaching Credential. And it is the type of coaching certification that was designed for therapists. And when you go through this training with a BCC approved coaching certification program, you will learn evidence-based coaching methods and how to apply them to your therapy practice so that there's no guesswork. It creates a very clear boundary between coaching and therapy, helping you stay in your lane, but also it is an insurance policy around grievances and liabilities. Because if someone files a complaint, having a BCC credential shows that you've done the work, you've gotten the education, you are following ethical guidelines, you know what the rules are, and you are able to demonstrate the scope of competence. I mean, there is a lot on your side if anybody ever gets curious about what you are doing. And additionally, the code of ethics of the board certified coaching credential is very much in alignment with what therapists need to be doing, which is different than what civilian coaches need to be doing, right? So with the BCC credential, it gives you the tools to navigate all of these different gray areas. And so, here's the thing, in this day and age, anybody can call themselves a coach. Your cousin Joe could be like, I'm a life coach, put it on LinkedIn tomorrow, and boom, instant coach. But Not everybody can say they are a board certified coach. It means something. It is a credential from a very reputable organization that sets, these continuing education requirement hours, where they certify clinical supervisors. And so when you hold a BCC credential, you are setting yourself apart. This is a credential that prospective clients who are savvy look for to know that you're legit. State licensing boards know and respect this credential. But I think most importantly, you can offer coaching services with a lot of confidence, knowing that you have this gold standard credential, that you have been properly trained and educated, and that you really know what you're doing. And not just will this help you do a better job with clients and help you protect your practice, but I think that there's a lot of just relief that comes with that, because you don't have to second guess yourself. No more sleepless nights worrying about if you're doing something wrong or any ethical slip ups, or that you might be stepping into something that you don't even realize. So, to wrap things up, if you have been winging it as a therapist, you're calling yourself a coach, two options: either stop calling yourself a coach or do it right and get certified. And so to help you get started, if you are interested in pursuing certification, take my free resource. I have created a totally free 2-part training on the therapist's ultimate guide to coaching. And so this will help you get clarity about your career path, but it will also show you exactly how to transition into coaching ethically, confidently, how one obtains the credential, like the action steps, all the things you'll need to do. You can download it right now. Here is the link. Come to my website, growingself.com/coach. So grab it. It's yours. Share it. Fantastic. You'll get a workbook, 2 free videos. And at the end of that, you'll be like, okay, I know what this is going to take, and a lot of clarity about whether or not this is the right choice for you. So the bottom line, DIY coaching is risky, but with the right training, you can add coaching to your practice the right way. And you got a free resource to help you do it, growingself.com/coach. Now, don't stop here. In the next video, I'm diving into what every therapist needs to know about coaching. And this is packed with even more insights to help you thrive in this space. So if you're curious about differences between coaching and therapy, what is coaching for that is different from therapy? When is coaching a better idea for clients versus when is therapy the better choice? Check that out. What every therapist needs to know about coaching. Just click, we'll continue, and you can keep learning and growing. While we're here, don't forget to like, subscribe so that we can stay connected to each other, and track me down on LinkedIn, Dr. Lisa Marie Bobby, and we'll keep this conversation going there too. All right, take care.